The US is setting up an international coalition aimed at supporting rebels in their struggle. The so-called Friends of Democratic Syria will involve countries willing to prop up the opposition and pile more pressure on the regime. Direct military action is ruled out, but reports suggest that British and Qatari special forces are already in the conflict zone. And while the US and its allies criticize Russia for supplying military hardware to Damascus, there are now calls from American lawmakers to arm the opposition. As RT's Marina Portnaya reports, the region's already being flooded with firepower made in the USA.
At the United Nations Security Council, America holds one permanent seat. But when it comes to weapons, the world's largest arms exporter is often seen as sitting on two chairs.
They say there isn't an international embargo on arms preventing them from doing that. That is a fact. But that doesn't change the immorality of supplying a dictatorial regime that is killing its people in massive numbers every day. And we are deeply concerned about that.
As U.S. officials continue publicly scolding countries over relations with Syria, critics say the accusations are being thrown from a tremendous glass house.
The U.S. is hugely hypocritical in this regard because they've long been the largest arms dealer, and most of those weapons that the U.S. has sold historically, more than $400 billion worth since the 1960s, have gone to the Middle East. And you can't argue seriously that it's made that region any more stable.
In the past few years, nearly 50% of U.S. weapons exports have been flowing to the Middle East. Many countries with the biggest appetite for American weapons have also made headlines for carrying out brutal crackdowns against dissidents and opposition groups.
If you're our thug, you're okay, and if it's their thug, you're not. I mean, this is, for all of us who have been overseas, the duplicity and hypocrisy of American foreign policy is painfully evident.
According to congressional figures, America has sold $1.4 billion worth of weapons to Bahrain since 2000. And America struck its single biggest arms deal when Saudi Arabia ordered $60 billion worth of arms. The U.S. has long subsidized the Israeli military and recently supplied them with bunker buster bombs. Experts say this strategic arming of Middle Eastern countries is aimed at Iran and extending U.S. dominance in the region.
The deal that is going on right now is a massive build-up against Iran. It's not at all about, human rights issues, and it's all about some geopolitical games.
FBI whistleblower Sybil Edmonds has accused America of playing particularly dirty while leading a campaign for regime change in Syria.
It's not some kind of a simultaneously uprising situation where people are rebelling and then suddenly they are mysteriously armed, and mysteriously arms are being smuggled into Syria from Turkey. Well, who's providing these arms? Nobody's asking in the U.S. media. Well, these are U.S. arms shipped to Turkey.
This as the U.S. military complex, flush with record revenue, continues to lobby its interests on Capitol Hill.
Arms manufacturers are some of the biggest companies in America. They're some of the most powerful. Lockheed Martin, not only do they make and sell arms for the Defense Department and around the world, they're a federal contractor in many other levels. They're even involved in elections.
This statue outside the UN headquarters is a symbol of global peace and nonviolence, but critics say the idea has been twisted by the U.S., which goes around advocating peace while arming countless conflicts, all for the sake of profit. Marina Portnaya, RT, New York.